AI agents that use more company context may leak more of it. This episode gives you a screenshot-ready essential information versus sensitive context card for deciding what AI may use and what must stay behind a permission gate. In July 2026, Microsoft Research published CI work to test whether enterprise agents can convey essential content while withholding sensitive context. In simulated enterprise workflows, violation rates ranged from 15.8% to 59% and leakage reached 26.7%. Those benchmark numbers are not inevitable real company outcomes or proof of deployment safety. This video is packed with practical, high-value insights to help you get better at using AI. It's a longer one, so follow Tiny Agent and save it so you don't lose it. First, map the information flow so you can see why sensitivity depends on who sends what to whom, and for which purpose. The same meeting notes may be essential for a project lead and inappropriate for an external customer. CI work describes a flow through the sender, recipient, data type, data subject, and transmission principle. Content indispensable to the task belongs in the essential set. Content that violates the current role and purpose belongs in the sensitive set. The enterprise challenge is that essential and sensitive items are often mixed across email, chat, calendars, and meeting transcripts. Do not ask only whether a record is confidential. Ask whether this recipient needs it, this purpose permits it, and this output should carry it. The human's first job is to define the recipient, purpose, and allow data scope before delegation, not to delete risky phrases after the draft. Chapter recap. First, privacy boundaries belong to a specific information flow. Second, essential and sensitive content depend on the recipient and purpose. Third, humans define the allowed data scope before delegation. Next, explain why leakage can grow so you stop treating task ability and privacy protection as one score. To finish a task, an agent retrieves more internal context and combines apparently relevant pieces into a final action. As context becomes denser, essential and sensitive items are more likely to appear in the same retrieval result. Across the models tested in CI work, more complete task conveyance often came with more privacy violations and leakage. The paper reports Pearson correlations of 0.40 for conveyance versus leakage and 0.39 for conveyance versus violations, both statistically significant. Models often recognize coarse inside versus outside boundaries, yet struggle to judge whether a specific role may receive a specific item. Increasing model size or reasoning depth did not automatically solve the problem. Some settings even showed larger models leaking more. Chapter recap. First, broader retrieval entangles essential and sensitive context. Second, task utility and privacy need separate acceptance tests. Third, a larger model is not a default privacy architecture. Now separate context before delegation so the boundary becomes a testable task input instead of a vague reminder. Write the recipient first, yourself, a teammate, a manager, a cross-functional partner, or an external customer. Write the purpose next, summary, approval, response, analysis, or public release, because each permits a different information flow. List only essential fields, facts, scope, time range, and evidence without which the task cannot be completed. List sensitive fields separately, including identity, health, pay, internal drafts, credentials, private judgments, and unrelated behavior. Do not hand over an entire store and ask the agent to remember privacy. Enforce least privilege and field separation in retrieval and data views. If essential and sensitive content cannot be separated reliably, let AI draft questions or structure while a human retrieves and inserts final facts. Chapter recap. First, recipient and purpose define the boundary. Second, provide only fields required for the task. Third, narrow the AI role when separation is uncertain and let a human insert facts. Next, add supervision and takeover points so you know exactly where AI must stop for confirmation. Put the first gate before retrieval. Tools may access only approved sources, fields, and time ranges for the current task. Put the second gate before output. Create a preview that shows where each key fact came from and who will receive it. Put the third gate before execution. Email, sharing, public publishing, permission changes, and bulk exports require human approval. Log the retrieval query, returned items, withheld sensitive content, final recipient, and approving person together. Pause when identity is unclear, purpose changes, recipients expand, a field cannot be classified, or sensitive matches repeat. Human takeover is not cosmetic redaction. It rechecks the task, narrows permission, and decides whether to continue, rewrite, or cancel. Chapter recap. First, gate retrieval, output, and execution separately. Second, logs must reconstruct how information moved. Third, unclear or expanded boundaries trigger immediate human takeover. Finally, build the essential information versus sensitive context card so you have a reusable acceptance sequence for enterprise AI work. Box 1 records task and recipient, who delegated, who receives, what must be done, and where the output goes. Box 2 records essential information, only indispensable fields, time range, and sources. Box 3 records sensitive context, what must not be retrieved, displayed, sent, or must be redacted. Box 4 records AI permissions, allowed searches, write and send writes, and stop conditions for every step. Box 5 records human acceptance, recipient, purpose, sources, sensitive matches, and irreversible actions. Regenerate the card whenever purpose or recipient changes. Old authorization never carries automatically into a new task. Screenshot this separation card and use it in your enterprise AI workflow. Chapter recap. First, record the task, recipient, and essential information. Second, list sensitive context and AI permissions separately. Third, reapprove every purpose change instead of inheriting old authorization. To sum up, AI agents that use more company context may leak more of it. Privacy protection does not mean preventing useful AI work. It lets essential information pass through an approved flow while sensitive context stays behind the gate. Externalize the recipient, purpose, essential fields, sensitive fields, AI permissions, and human takeover rule before granting access step by step. Which enterprise AI task would you put behind an essential information versus sensitive context card first? Tell me in the comments. Follow Tiny Agent. Tiny Agent helps you get better at using AI.